All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So some breaking Jets news came out maybe around 10, 15 minutes, or more so like 15, 20 minutes ago here. The Jets went out and restructured guard Alex Lewis's contract, dropping it down from $5.8 million to $3 million. And the expectation is that Lewis will hit the open market in 2022 as an unrestricted free agent. But this season, he's going to be competing for right guard, right? That right guard position is open, and that's kind of what I wanted to really focus this video around, the right guard position, because let's be honest, we're looking at the offensive line, and for the first time in a long time, the O-line looks pretty good, right? Let's start with let's go from left to right. I really like the left side of this offensive line. Left tackle, Mekhi Becton, obviously he's a stud, one of the best left tackles in the league. It's not a stretch to say that. You look at what he did last season, you look at the coach, you look at all of the things working against Becton and what he was still able to accomplish, dealing with the injuries and whatnot. This guy's an animal. This guy's going to be here for the foreseeable future. I love Mekhi Becton. Moving on to left guard, our second first-round pick out of USC, Elijah Vera Tucker, should step in and fill that position beautifully based off of what he did at USC. Looking at him as a prospect, he's a high-floor type of player, so overall just a safe prospect, but at the same time he has a really high ceiling as well. I mean, how awesome is that? That doesn't really happen too much. And the Jets were able to land him at pick 14, albeit we had to trade up, but he's great in run blocking. He's tons of production in pass pro, fits the Mike LaFleur system. Everything looks pretty good at left guard. Moving on to center, it's Conor McGovern. And now Conor McGovern definitely disappointed a lot of people last season based off of the contract, based off of the hype and the expectation coming into the season, leaving Denver to New York on a huge contract for a center. And the center play, the interior offensive line play last season was horrendous, and I don't need to remind you of that. I mean, you guys watch the games, you know how bad it was. Darnold was getting killed. There were no holes for running backs to run through. There were no running lanes whatsoever. It wasn't until we acquired Pat Elflein from the Vikings later on in the season when things started to pick up a little bit, but he's no longer with the team. I think he went and signed with the Carolina Panthers, if I'm not mistaken. But long story short, the expectation for Conor McGovern is that he will get better. He's playing in a system that is more fit for his skill set, right? And you take a look back at when Conor McGovern actually produced and when he was a good player. It was with Denver under Scangarello, and they ran a similar kind of West Coast, zone blocking scheme. So the hope is Conor McGovern bounces back. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what everybody's hoping for, and we need it. Let's be honest. Like, we need Conor McGovern to bounce back. If he doesn't, we're going to be in trouble. And then, of course, at right tackle, we have George Fant, a guy who I thought played pretty good football last season. In his first year as a full-time starter, George Fant went out there and did an admirable job. I was never concerned that George Fant was going to get destroyed off the edge by, opposing linebackers and defensive ends. Not in the least. George Fant wasn't a top 5 right tackle, a top 10 right tackle, but I thought he played above average football last season. So going into year 2, I'm really excited about it. But right guard is the position of need here. This is the main position that has like the biggest question mark on it, probably on the entire offense right now. And we have a couple candidates, and Alex Lewis is one of those guys. Who's going to win the right guard's position here? Will it be Alex Lewis, the guy who did some solid things for the Baltimore Ravens, but when you look at his Jet career, there hasn't really been much to write home about? Will it be newcomer Dan Feeney from the LA Chargers, a guy who I loved coming out of college? I thought he was a mauler. I thought he was just an awesome guard. But his pro career has not really worked out the way that everybody kind of hoped it would have, just with the injuries and the inconsistencies and whatnot. But we brought him in kind of on a one-year prove-it style of deal, so we'll see, because I still feel like Dan Feeney has that upside. We'll see if he starts at the right guard position. I definitely want a competition here. We have undrafted free agent Tristan Hoge from BYU. That's an interesting one because I really like his size and I like his production as well. And I reached out to a couple Cougars fans after the Jets acquired Hoge, and literally every single fan that I talked to said that they thought Hoge was going to be drafted, not like a first or second round pick or anything like that, but at least in the later rounds. And the Jets got him in the undrafted market. So they all said, hey, not only are you getting Zach Wilson and whatnot, which is cool, but you're also getting Hoge, which was a steal in the undrafted pool. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, based off of what I've seen from Tristan Hoge, I like it. I think he does have an upside as well. And then, of course, we have fourth round, pretty high pick here. 4th round pick in last year's class, Cam Clark out of Charlotte. What is happening on that front? I feel like pretty much all of the middle round picks that were made last season, we just don't know what's happening with them. What's happening with James Morgan? Like, what's the plan with that? What's happening with Cam Clark? What's happening with Jabari Zuniga? I mean, Ashton Davis, like how much playing time is he going to see this season? Like, I feel like the entire middle section of last year's draft is just one big question mark. But as far as Cam Clark is concerned, I always liked Clark. Again, when the Jets picked him, I didn't think to myself like, oh yeah, we're getting a first round guy here. But I'm like, this guy will help the team. This guy's coming in at the worst position on the team, but he didn't get in the game. But you know what? I do want to kind of hand out a pass here and say, you know what? Adam Gase was the head coach. I felt like every decision that Gase made last season was the wrong one. So, you know, I just felt like Cam Clark deserved an opportunity to play last season. Again, he was a 4th round pick. Yes, he might have been a little raw for sure coming out of Charlotte, but I feel like because the position struggled so bad and we waited so long to make a change, it just really rubbed me the wrong way that Cam Clark never had an opportunity to start late in the season, to even see the field. It was like he wasn't even there. It's like he wasn't even a part of the team. It's almost like Joe Douglas and Adam Gase were just on 2 different worlds. They just weren't on the same page at all when it came to the draft, especially in the middle rounds. But who knows? Let's see what happens in training camp. Who will come out victorious in the battle of the right guard position? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Who do you want to see win the job? And by the way, we can maybe still add bodies to this room, whether it's through free agency, whether it's through a waiver pickup. Who knows? Do we have a surprise guy? Does Hoj step up and just all of a sudden start dominating and he's the guy? Exciting stuff to kind of think about and to kind of foresee, but at the same time, I don't want to get ahead of myself. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. And as always, go Jets.